Everybody, it's Harry Box, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Tuesday the 20th. It certainly wasn't a turnaround Tuesday until the end of the day, but indices had a tough session. There were some stocks that looked real good. I want to show you something different today and start to do this more often. And not only show you the daily chart, but the intraday 1-minute charts and why we traded them today. We'll start off with AMPX on a daily. It's a recent IPO. It popped to 27, it came down into the 5 range. Today it exploded, and here's what it looks like on the 1-minute chart. This morning, pre-market, the stock was sitting there, quiet. And when the market opened, nothing yet, but it really popped around 10:15 from the little wedge. Right there, popped out from the little flag, spiked up and actually formed another little, what I consider wedge from this advantage. And then the breakout and the spike up. So multiple waves up and a culmination of a high, 1236 from where we first spotted it around the 6 3/4 range. It then came down in a corrective kind of consolidation, a tight one, moved back above the VWAP, got up to resistance and backed off, did it again, it backed off and finally consolidated and broke out and ran up to the high for the day, which is 1389 before pulling back. Now it looked orderly. It looked like it might start to go, and it did, but it wasn't able to follow through, and it broke down right there. And that was your stopping point under, say, 12.5. After hours, it traded down to 1032, 1057 last. Blue. Well, Bluebird bio in a long downtrend. Reversed, formed like a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. Here's your breakout through the neckline. A pop to the first target, a pullback and a wedge, and then another breakout. A dramatic pullback, but held support right at the trend line, near the 50, and near the lateral price support, all around the 45.50 zone. But today it's spiked back up from 569 to 697, trading 673 after hours. Here's the 1 minute. You can see what interested me today was when it broke out here. From the flag popped out, there was a buy right there, another flag and another buy right there. It's basically a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a big fifth wave, which should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, culminating with a target near 7 at 126. It came down and the rest of the day did nothing. But overall, an interesting pattern with a resistance ahead to retest the 740, 42 zone, and then I'm looking at 8 1/4. And GAM, Mobile Global Sports, breakaway gap popped, spiked up all the way into the 3 3/4 range, 365 actually, finished way back at 292. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. You can see why we're interested in it as it popped, coiled, and then broke out. Spent several hours consolidating and then broke out, only to retest and get and wedge, and then exploded from 313, 365, way down into the close. Something to watch perhaps tomorrow, we'll see. Nrbo, big explosive move off the low. Let's not forget what happened a week ago when it went from 788 and exploded to 63.85. And it got slammed dunk back within a week to the 13 range, only to pop today from 1424 to 2583. It did finish after hours off the high. So you can see how that deteriorated. But it's something to watch. The reason is, I believe, possibility of a falling wedge here. Might snap back, get up to 22, 26, 28, 29, etc. There's a 1 minute chart. Let's keep an eye on that one. SAVA, big day for this one, as it popped on 8 million shares and jumped 785 or 26%. A clean breakout to multiple month resistance tops. And now maybe headed for a spike up. Look at the, call it 43 and a half area, the next target. SOBR. Let's go look at a SAVA 1 minute chart intraday first. You can see early run up and a coil, broke out and flagged, and then popped again. But when it started to accelerate above these highs, across 34.5, 35, is when it really got crazy. Not that far from 40, 39.73, and then later on 39.98. After hours, it's 38.28. It's up almost 8 points. More importantly, on a daily chart, it's already broken its declining top sign going back a year and a half, or more than a year. And then through the triple top, now we're looking for, as I said, targets at about 43.5, 44, and possibly as high as low to mid 50s. SOBR late in the day today announced, or the federal government announced, that they may require alcohol monitoring devices in a car, which is what this company makes. And from sitting there doing nothing at about $1.10, it suddenly spiked, ran up, flagged, blew out, flagged again, and did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move all the way up to 417, 300% move. And now the after hours, you see it's drifting, but something to keep an eye on for tomorrow and the next few days. VRAX, after going public back in July, it spiked to 29, got hammered down at 5, bounced to 12, eventually came all the way down to 2.5. Today was a big day for it. However, here's your 1-minute chart. You can see the spike up and pullback, and when it started moving, that's when we were interested. It ran up, popped. This is all pre-market from the pre-market bull flag. And when the market opened, by the time the market opened, the stock was already 378, about a point off of where we found it. The rest of the day coiling, but it's something to keep an eye on going forward. As your next targets appear to be 4.5 and 6. Let's look at some of the hot stocks from both a daily and intraday perspective. This is HP signing off. Have a great evening.